Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Inside Man United. My name is Rowan Brennan, and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, that game against Chelsea, badly needed. And I think the response that the fans and the manager required was given. And you can even tell by McTominay's comments post-match that this is a team that wants to play for its manager. He gave full credit to the performance to the manager. The manager is what got us set up correctly for this game. The training we did beforehand was light to give us energy for this game. In total contradiction to what the reports were saying in the paper, that the squad was against him, that the players were complaining about the training, that they were being run into the ground. And, you know, there's a lot of newspapers that need to really take a look at themselves and ask themselves, are their sources correct? Are they just making stuff up? Because that was not the performance of a team that is not behind its manager. That is a team that wants to play and wants to win. And McTominay was the first to just give all the credit to Erik Ten Hag, who fully deserves some public backing from his players. Not just kind of, you know, the standard rehearsed, oh yeah, we're all working together as a team, all the crap that you know you have to say. But a convincing performance and a domination of Chelsea. Now, listen, could Chelsea have had a couple? Sure. Should we have had about 5? Yeah. But it was 2-1. We won. We beat a Chelsea team that a lot of people thought we were going to lose to, despite us being ahead of them in the league and despite them being their own circus. I mean, you kind of laugh at the fact that United are now 3 points behind City and not far off the top spot, and the sky seems to be falling on our heads. And Chelsea, who've spent the guts of 600 million quid with Pochettino, a manager I rate, now at the helm, and they've just been floundering. And there's not a peep about Chelsea. Little comments here and there, mainly about Mudryk, to be honest, as opposed to the club. But it's madness. Anyway, really refreshing to see. And yeah, very, very pleased to see the team come out, perform like that. Amrabat played a great game, his best game in a United shirt. Was very lucky not to have given the ball away. If he gives that ball away and Chelsea end up drawing 2-2, it's a different game. It's amazing that the finest of margins turn a celebration into a disaster. And Amrabat could have been punished, wasn't punished for his wayward ball, but it was pretty much the only mistake he made. And other than that, he played quite well. But again, it is those poor decisions that can turn a 5 out of 10 performance into an 8 out of 10 performance and 3 points into 1 point or no points. So either way, we'll take the positives. McTominay, a man reborn. Garnacho, he's got to be nailed down to keep that left-sided spot now. I mean, Rashford really needs to think about where his future lies, not only within the team, but within the game. I would personally see him sold. If anyone who's watched this channel at all will know my stance on Rashford, and it's not just been this year, it's been for years, predating last year. I don't rate the guy. I think he's got some ability, but he's just Wilfred Zaha 2.0 in my opinion. Not a bad player, Premier League standard, but certainly not the talisman a club United need to get them back to the very top. And Højlund still looking for his first Premier League goal, but a good performance. I don't like calling players busy because it just sounds like they're running around a lot, not doing a whole lot. But the goals will come, and despite his lack of goals in the league, I think every United fan is impressed with what they're seeing. Luke Shaw, fantastic as always. Harry Maguire, an absolute model professional, and someone that I think professionals and young lads across the game should take a huge example from. This guy has been absolutely smashed from pillar to post by fans, by pundits, by everyone. And to be honest, yeah, we all want to see him gone from the club, but I think the lack of captaincy pressure on him has allowed him to kind of blossom into the player that we were hoping he would be. I'm not saying I would keep him. I'm not saying that he should be in the first team, but for him to keep his dignity, to turn in these types of performances when he's been publicly shamed and humiliated for years, had the captaincy stripped from him, it's public knowledge that he was going to be sold, and for him to just maintain his dignity, professionalism, and just his dignity. And to turn in these kind of performances, a tip of the cap to Mr. Maguire. I think he's won a lot of people over with his attitude, and I think we could do with a lot more of Harry Maguire's attitude throughout the team and perhaps even throughout the game as a whole. So very well done, Harry. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the news items that we've got coming up today. Coming up on today's episode of Inside Man United. Game over for Man United superstars as Ten Hag tells £184 million trio to leave ahead of 2 January arrivals. Manchester United hold transfer talks with 18-year-old after Chelsea clash. His destiny. Man United tipped by transfer expert as next club for £87 million Serie A star. And could Luke Shaw find himself in a feud with 2 United superstars? And Sofyan Amrabat opens up about his difficult start at Manchester United after Chelsea win. All that coming up. So kicking us off today is a game over for Man United superstars as Ten Hag tells £184 million trio to leave ahead of 2 January arrivals. There he is, looking very suave in his paddy cap and goatee combo, looking a little bit sharper than the team might be playing this season. But hey, after Chelsea, maybe things are on the up. So let's see how things pan out. So Manchester United have put 3 extremely high-profile stars up for sale, with a report naming one of 2 likely signings in January when the deck has been cleared. So when asked by the United Stand fanzine whether Man United would make additions next month, Ten Hag played down expectations. I don't think so, and if so, the approach from United should be, if they can improve the team, then you should do what we expect from every player. Coming to Carrington is for them to give their maximum. As a club, you always look for improvements, so if you can find better and it's realistic financially, and with financial fair play, I think the club has to go with it. But realistically, in relation to the market, most of the time you don't attract the best players in the winter, and that is true. So not best to say that, though, because any players you're bringing in the winter, then you're kind of like, hello, you're not the best, but you'll do. The top players will not leave their clubs in the winter. Ten Hag's comments painted a gloomy picture for United's prospects in the winter window. However, you can't say Jean-Claire Todibo is a top player. He's doing well in France. He's young. But yes, the 3 major names is Varane, Casemiro, and Sancho. And of course, Sir Jim Ratcliffe highlighting Casemiro as one of those overly expensive transfers that he personally thought made 0 sense. So you could see Casemiro maybe being in his crosshairs when he comes in January. And United are apparently willing to listen to offers. Sancho, obviously. Casemiro, I'd like to see last year's Casemiro still at the club. I think he's a fantastic player, but I went to see him play at Old Trafford against Lens in the one of the final pre-season warm-ups, and I remember seeing him going, I was looking forward to seeing him. I remember just looking at him going, Jesus, man, he looks like he's got lead in his legs. I thought it might have just been some pre-season blues. We'd heard rumors that Casemiro was always a slow starter. He always kind of starts pre-season a little bit heavy and unfit. Obviously, that's not going to get better the older you get. But it doesn't look like he's shaking off those heavy legs. So, maybe it's best to get rid of someone who's on 350 grand a week and cost you 60 million quid. If you could get that from Saudi, that's the only place you're going to recoup anything close to the transfer fee you got. And you're not going to get even a reasonable transfer fee if the buying club has to take care of the 350 grand a week that you promised. And remember, Casemiro's contracted to be at the club until he's like 35 or something. He's got 4 or 5 years left. It's an absolutely bonkers contract when you think about it. I mean, it's no wonder the board is going to get ripped apart by Ratcliffe, because that is, as much as I enjoyed seeing Casemiro last year, that is an outrageously irresponsible piece of business. It just is. Anyway, Ten Hag is determined to streamline his squad and boot out those believed to either be responsible for leaks and damaging team morale. He doesn't think that's necessarily Varane, Casemiro, probably is Sancho. So British pair winning Ten Hag's trust, of course. McTominay and Maguire winning back the hearts and minds of people across the footballing landscape, not just United fans. I mean, really, the resurgence from being out the door, everything but out the door, to now come back and probably be two of United's. I'm going to say Harry Maguire, yes, because he's played very well. The last month, he's got the Premier League Player of the Year, Premier League Player of the Month. McTominay, despite his goals, has not been good in midfield. And even with his kind of ability to score every now and again, I think people did not want to see McTominay in the United midfield anymore. However, he scores 2 goals then against Chelsea. There's something about this guy's form at the moment that, if we can get the right defensive players in there, McTominay is a huge threat going forward, and he's proven it time and time again. And he's doing it for Scotland. He's doing it for United. I mean, this guy clearly has more ability at the top end of the pitch than in the defensive, because he hasn't been very good as a defensive player. And he really is kind of reinventing himself, and Jesus, go with it, go with it. If it's working, take advantage, and hopefully we continue to do so. I'd say Mount is looking at this going, Jesus, that's supposed to be my position. But Mount ain't getting a sniff if McTominay keeps doing this. So where could Varane, Casemiro, and Sancho go? There is talk about United potentially swapping Sancho for Daniel Malen, who's the winger currently at Dortmund, a young player earning rave reviews in Germany. But obviously, Dortmund would love to get the Sancho of old back. The report also noted that incoming part owner Ratcliffe is unlikely to have a major say in how United's winter window shakes out. I don't believe that. I think he's going to want to come in and have an immediate impact as soon as possible. I mean, why wait for the second half of the season to be over until you make some moves? I mean, we want Jean-Claire Todibo. He owns Nice. I mean, the most obvious thing is we need defensive reinforcements. Get Todibo in. He works for you at another club. Just get him to pack his bags, pay him twice as much, and get him a spot in the dressing room. So 2 signings wanted, 1 stars ousted. Of course, one is Todibo. They don't mention who the other midfield player would be. However, an interesting story. So United hold transfer talks with 18-year-old after Chelsea clash. Here is the young man here, Lenny Yoro, 18-year-old playing with Lille, and made his debut when he was 16. He's already got 34 first-team appearances for Lille, yeah. And they're currently 4th, doing very, very well in Ligue 1, and he seems to be one of the shining lights of that French team. And is Angel Gomez there, or Angel Gomez, the small little dynamic attacker that was at United a couple of years ago? I think he went to Lille. I know he went to Benfica, but I think he went there on loan from Lille. Anyway, Le Ten Sport claims that the Red Devils have already contacted Lille as well as the players' representatives. City have also done the same. They go on to say they're hoping to convince Yoro to sign a new contract at Lille. I'd say they just want to get a nice fat buyout clause on that contract just to protect their investment. Central defence is like to be an area United look to strengthen in the near future. Yeah, near future, like January. So I don't see Ratcliffe sitting on his hands and waiting for summer to roll through. Johnny Evans, love to see him in the backroom staff, but beyond this year, I don't think Johnny Evans should be getting much of a look in. I mean, yeah, if you want to pay him 50 grand a week, have him sitting on the bench and maybe come in for some cup matches, why not? Could be a very positive influence in the dressing room. He is a winner. He's been there during the good times at United. So I'm always for former successful players being in and around the club. I think it's very, very important to maintain an ethos of excellence and winning when you've got ex-players hanging around and hoping to impart some knowledge on the next generation that are coming through. So I'd love to see it. Varane is linked with a January exit, like we've already covered. Lindelof is currently out of contract at the end of the season. I'm sure that's going to be extended by a year. And yeah, Maguire came close to leaving, etc., etc. But yeah, interesting article here. Finding a long-term partner for Martinez will be Ten Hag's aim. Jean-Claire Todibo and even Branthwaite from Everton, the 6'4", 6'3" England youth colossus who's at the back for Everton. Good player. Very much in the kind of Harry Maguire mold, just a big lumbering English centre half, but appears unlikely United will make any signings in January. I don't believe that. Anyway, on to the next one. His destiny is the headline here. Man United tipped by transfer expert as next club for £87 million Serie A star. So United are in for Man United are one of the top 5 clubs in the world that will be looking to sign Kavica Kvaratskhelia. How's my pronunciation? I think I nailed that. Before too long, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, a very prominent name in the football transfer world, especially in Italy, Kvaratskhelia was heavily linked with the Napoli exit in the summer following a breakout season, which included 14 goals and 17 assists. This could be the type of wide player United are going to be looking at. Obviously, was it Chiesa was linked from Juventus not so long ago, but I think he's pretty happy there. But with Sancho definitely going, Greenwood not looking like he's going to be coming back, Antony having his own struggles, Pellistri maybe not showing enough or being given enough opportunity to show enough. This kind of profile player would be exactly the type of player that I think United would be looking to bring in on that right side. I mean, if we got another striker, we've got Højlund, I think will come good. Garnacho showing everything we want to see from a player, just go from strength to strength, making more mature decisions, getting on the ball, making fewer mistakes, looking more and more comfortable on that side. And he's basically stolen that position off what was supposed to be our talisman player. Not my belief, but the belief of many people. Yeah, Garnacho's here to stay. He's the real deal. And yeah, good luck, Marcus. Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle also looking to get in on the action with Kvaratskhelia. Reportedly, Napoli value the 22-year-old who's 4 goals and 5 assists this season, so still maintaining a reasonable level of form despite Napoli's struggles this season compared to last season. But they're valuing him at the magic round number of €100 million, not 92, not 97, not 105. It's just a nice round 100 million. Yeah, how do they arrive to that number? I'd love to know. Which seems reasonable given he's under contract until 2027, and Di Marzio believes there will be no shortage of takers claiming it's his destiny to play for a club like United. He goes on to say, I think Kvaratskhelia is a top player and has had an incredible impact. He's still growing. I don't agree with those who say he hasn't been playing at his level this year. It's been hard for him since Spalletti left. I'm sure that this year we'll see him with more character. I don't know if we'll see him at Napoli next year. But I know that it's his destiny to play for one of the top 5 clubs in the world like Madrid, Barcelona, or Manchester United. Still a relief to hear our name being mentioned in that trifecta. Totally undeserving given our carry-on of the last decade. But, you know, old habits die hard, so that's good. Daily Mail's Mike Keegan revealed that United admire the Napoli star, but unlikely that he's going to be leaving in January. So it looks like that would be a summer switch, if anything. And as for January, a loan move away may be the answer to get them through until the end of the campaign. Yeah. Let's see how that one goes. Man United feud may be brewing as Luke Shaw throws shade at 2 teammates after Chelsea win. So what's this all about? What playground carry-on is going on at the United dressing room? So Luke Shaw caused a social media stir on Thursday morning by liking a post about Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial after United beat Chelsea 2-1. So basically what this is a United fan channel or page posted a quote from Patrice Evra, who was, not giving huge amounts of praise towards Rashford and Martial. Nothing overly, critical, but Shaw seemingly threw shade at Rashford and Martial after eagle-eyed supporters noticed the 28-year-old had liked a post from fan account Centre Devils, relaying quotes from Patrice Evra. The quotes went on to say, I think it will be tough for Marcus Rashford and Martial to come back into the starting 11. Gasp. The post appeared in the liked section of Shaw's profile. Luke, what have you done? Suggesting the England international agreed with Evra's stance. Perhaps he did. What does this mean? However, he quickly covered his tracks, unliking the post before replying to another fan account to insist it was a mistake. Come on, don't be silly. Obviously not intentional. Face palm emoji. Probably wasn't, to be honest. How many times have you tried to scroll and you just kind of, your thumb slips and you give it one of those little doubles, So I think that's what may have happened in this case, because I think these guys are smart enough, especially with his level of experience, to know that even the smallest thing like that will get absolutely blown out of proportion. But who knows? Maybe he was throwing shade in the direction of Marcus and Anthony. Finally, we go on to Sofian Amrabat, our lovely bald-headed Moroccan, and his difficult start at Manchester United. And he goes on to say, after speaking with MUTV, everyone is disappointed after we lost against Newcastle. I'm happy because we won the game, which is important. I tried to help the team. It's normal. My start was a bit difficult. I don't like to give excuses. Cue excuses. But I didn't have a preseason, so that's difficult for every player, I think. I started with an injury, and normally you need some time to adapt, but there was no time. The team needed me, so I had to jump in immediately, and I'm a fighter. I will never say no when the manager needs me. Yes, Sofian. This is what we like to hear. Good man. The Premier League is the strongest league in the world, but I'm happy step by step. Every day I'm stronger and better. So I'm happy we won the game and I played quite good, but there are still things to do better and I have more to offer. Oh, what a great thing to hear. I love it, Sofian. Yeah, all the goodwill in the world going out to our boy Amrabat. There was a huge amount of I don't know, hype and excitement about his arrival. I think, he had some pretty sweet statistics in terms of his ball distribution, his passing from deep, medium and long range passing. He's in the top 1 percentile in Europe across all 5 leagues for that. So I think him and the Casemiro double act, Casemiro breaking people up, 1-2s with Amrabat and him pinging it out to the wings. I think people had, imagined all these amazing patterns of play, but he did have a bit of an inauspicious start to his time at United, and but like a lot of players, they just need a little bit of time. He was injured, in fairness to him, and he's come back in now. He joked about McTominay. I think he has to change job to a striker. Before he was like, oh, no, our strikers are absolutely fine. Even going so far as to mention the caliber of Anthony Martial. So we know he's, talking a little bit of smack there. But yeah, it's clear Scott is very important and he scored 2 goals. So it's fantastic. So yeah, good to see Sofian playing his best game in a United shirt. McTominay played very, very well. Maguire just proving why he got that player of the month. Garnacho just growing and growing more and more with every game and just showing us that we might have a real superstar in our hands here. So are the good times back at United? Who knows? We've seen a few false dawns, but anytime you get encouragement like that, it is your right, nay, duty as a United fan to get excited, because there isn't a whole lot to get excited about these days. So when you see little glimmers like that, it's always good. And, you got to get behind the team and support this lot and not keep shitting on them from a height, which is very, very easy to do. So let's try and keep the good times rolling and get behind this team. And so endeth the news today on Friday, the 8th of December. So yeah, some interesting stuff, but I think we can go into the weekend with a little bit of positivity after our result against Chelsea. Some players really starting to kind of show their worth. The papers and all those media outlets that were banned saying nasty things about our beloved dumpster fire of a club. Yeah, it was good to see the players actually turning out for the manager and putting to bed the speculation and the fears that our club is in far more disarray than it actually is, at least in terms of the dressing room and the manager. So an interesting news there with regards to transfers in January. What do you guys think? Leave your comments. Would you be shot of Casemiro and Varane in the January window if it freed up some wages and got some money into the transfer kitty? Would you welcome the sale of Varane and Casemiro if you knew we could reinvest that in some youth in January and maybe some larger targets come the summer transfer window? It's very interesting. I don't think it's going to be as quiet this January as many would have you believe. I think in order for United to secure that top 4 spot, and with Ratcliffe having the ambition he does and being the successful businessman that he is, you don't get success by sitting on your arse and sitting on your hands and waiting for 6 months to elapse before you do something. So I'm fully expecting something to happen in January, not just because I actually think it makes sense, but because I'm a giddy United fan and I want some new things to happen in January and some of the deadwood to get cleared out. But please leave your comments regarding the news. Let me know what you think, and as always, thank you very, very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.